Hey you guys, I know I haven't been here in a while. I hope you're doing great. I recently got into this history of the world. You guys have been telling me about the mud flood and the giant trees, and nobody told me. I don't think anyone told me about the giant trees, but somebody shared these videos on my wall on Twitter, and I think there's a very good case for these structures, like Devil's Tower. I hate to call it Devil's Tower because the Indians don't even call it Devil's Tower. The Indian chief calls this the Great Mother. And then it's protected in, some national forests, so we can't dig and find roots. But a couple of people on the internet have put forth a case that it's too compelling for me to ignore. I do believe this is a tree. I'm going to show you some more things. I do believe this is a tree. This is, these are supposedly made of stone, but after watching a ton of videos on these, I do believe these were giant trees. Now, what happened, I don't know. But these are hexagonal shapes, and I think they said that it was lava coming out from the earth and then making these shapes, which, I obviously don't think is true. I think that these shapes are in nature. The hexagon we see in honeybees make combs. Those are hexagonal shapes. And some of the people on the internet, I've watched a ton of these videos over the last couple of weeks, and some of the people on the internet claim that trees were made of a different, carbon. They were made of a different substance than the trees that we see now. And that they had giant root structures below that were made of crystal. And that it was like a giant crystal, kind of crystal forest. They were made of crystal. But, I don't think they were made of crystal, but I think when whatever happened, they turned to stone, which can't happen unless they're submerged. These would have to be submerged in water for them, water or mud, to make them, cut off like this. I've looked at them from the top. I've looked at the way they all kind of flare out, and then I've seen root systems on the sides. I do believe that these are trees. These are trees. They were trees. Now, at first, I thought somebody cut them, and I'm not really sure if they were cut. Get you another one. If they were cut, but these are just, the pictures are just too compelling for me to ignore. I believe that these are trees. They're made of a different material, but I've looked at enough of these that I do believe that these were trees. Now, what happened to these trees, I don't know. Were they submerged? Because a tree of this size at the base would go up so far and then cover so much at the top that our Earth had much more oxygen, which is why I believe they have, well, I'm not going to tell you what I believe about the environmental laws and things that they have, where we don't live as long because these trees were what were giving off oxygen. Now, is this something that a giant did, a man did? These are enormous structures. And there's a bunch of them all over the world. So I started watching, looking into these, and then I started getting into, the stones. Let's see if I can find. I posted a video that I really want to show to you guys. Oh, this is going over my apartment. Okay, but I don't think that's. Somebody sent me this cloud, which it looks like. I mean, what is that? Now, what is this? It looks like an Indian chief head in the cloud. And I just started to think that these things are not what we think they are, and that it's been like this for a very long time. I'm sorry, I'm just scrolling and scrolling, trying to find this tree video. I'm going to go try to get it, and I'll come back. This is one in Australia. I think these were giant trees, you guys. I can't. I've watched too many of these videos. So these, the way this, they turned into rock somehow, and most of the channels that I've been watching believe that these were wood at some point, and something happened. I don't know what happened to make this flat. To me, this looks like a cutting tool to make it flat. And perhaps after the trees were submerged, or, maybe they just fell. But if they fell, it would be jagged. So I do believe that this was cut in some way. And so that's what I've been looking at. I know there's a lot of things going on the world stage right now, but this is all I've been studying right now, because a lot of you guys know my story, and my story, I'm sure I'm not the only one in the situation, but this to me is more important, is that our history was told to us in a different way. I do tend to believe that the Earth is not what they say it is. I've looked at a bunch of photographs of NASA where they're using clone tools, in Photoshop, to, clone clouds, like repeating cloud patterns, where they're showing NASA as a ball, the Earth as a ball. I do believe the Earth is not a ball. And I also saw this footage in Antarctica recently. Let me try to find it. Okay, this is in Antarctica, and I do believe there's something beyond what I'm about to show you in Antarctica. I don't know what. I don't pretend to know what. But I do think that there's all these no-fly zones where you'll see people kind of going toward Antarctica, and I don't know if this is real, but it looks to be very real. Once I saw this, I believe that we're contained, and that this is going around the whole exterior perimeter. Is perimeter the right word? The circumference of what we are in. I do believe that that is what this is. I'll show it to you. So this is, I tried to look at this to make sure there weren't repeating patterns. I tried to look at it. So somebody got close enough, I don't know by drone or what, to show this. And it's in Antarctica. I do kind of believe there's a reason they've given us an alternate history, and that, me, I found a bunch of documents related to certain things they're doing legislatively. Now, that might be a repeat. I haven't looked at this carefully enough to know, but the way they filmed it looks like it's one solid piece going, you know. So I've watched a bunch of these videos, and I do believe that the history of the world is different than we were told, and something else is going on. Now, if there's remnants of giant trees beyond this border, I am not sure, but I've seen some maps that show that people, the original maps had different body masses, you know, land masses beyond this border. I just wonder if this is a great wall of some kind, a wall of ice, and that's why there's a no-fly zone. So I've watched a bunch of people flying toward this, and then the Air Force will come and try to, you know, ask them to basically pull over, tell them to stand down. I've watched boats going, you know, over toward this, and they'll be blocked by, not the Coast Guard, but, you know, one of those agencies will block them from, what do they not want us to see? And has anybody who's watching my channel ever been to Antarctica? Because I think there's something else going on. Anyway, I just want to show you guys that. I hope you're well. Talk to you soon.